I originally got started in wrestling from my older brother Jerry. He's 6 years older than me, and one day he brought it home with him, grabbed my other brother Norman, who's 2 years older than me, and said, "Come on, let's go in the backyard." And pretty much had our first wrestling lesson in the backyard on this little patch of dirt. He has always been the influence throughout my wrestling career as a youth and in high school and in college. He was always there, and if I had any questions, he had the answers. He introduced a lot of concepts about attacking and staying positive, and so it was really a key part of my success growing up.
I just know he was driven. He was driven. He wrestling was part of him through and through, all the way, and I think the making the sport a family thing really changes it. It becomes more of a lifestyle, and we define ourselves by the sport instead of just some kind of game we play. And so I think was it. He had 3 older brothers that wrestled, so it was in his blood.
In my high school career, I was 190 and 10. I competed at Canyon Springs High School in Southern California under Ray Rohde, and placed 4th as a freshman and first as a sophomore. My junior year, I moved high schools to James Logan, where I won 2 more state titles, where I went undefeated. I went to Fresno State mainly because my older brother Jerry was there coaching. I wanted to stay on the West Coast. I realized that at that time that a lot of our good guys were leaving, going to bigger schools, Oklahoma State, Illinois, things like that. And I decided I wanted to keep my skills on the West Coast and show that we can be strong powerhouse as well if we kept our good guys here. And I just tried to be that example for the good kids that were here in California.
I knew when I got Steven that I had a real special thing. When you go to the high school, he was 3-time high school state champ. He was a national high school champ. He was a freestyle junior national champ. He won the Junior Worlds. With all his credentials, I knew I had a pretty good package, and it was just a pleasure, to see him perform and do what I could to help him. And whatever moves I taught him, who knows if I taught him anything, but I know one thing: he did a lot of winning.
My relationship with DeLiddo has always been a real close relationship, and he's always been a great motivator for me. A few times in my career, he was able to sit me down and calm me down and let me know that everything's going to be all right. My NCAA experience was pretty exciting for me, placing 4th as a freshman. As a sophomore, I thought to myself, I just wanted to do better. Ended up going undefeated except for the one loss against Eric Guerrero. I went up a weight class, chasing my brother's titles and goals was my biggest drive. So once I won that first national title, I really felt that I had accomplished something. So the next year, I really couldn't visualize myself losing it all. Went undefeated. I felt like I was a level ahead of those guys as I was competing to make the world and Olympic team. It really showed when I was competing on that NCAA level. As a senior, I won my third national title and again went undefeated. I felt I had a little bit of an advantage. I'd already made a world team and I had a chance to really expand my arsenal and try things that I normally wouldn't to just help myself grow and get better.
Phenomenal finisher. If he got a leg, he'd finish. I said he's the greatest finisher I've ever seen. When he got in on a leg, it was almost 99.9% of chance he's going to get a takedown.
In 2001, I made my first world team. That year was the September 11th tragedy, and our tournament was moved to Bulgaria. That was my first world experience, so I only had 2 matches. And more than that, it was just a drive to make it again and to get that another opportunity. In 2003, we had the World Championships in New York. I ended up 5th in the tournament. Again, it was just another fuel to fan the flame, and then in 2004, I had my opportunity to erase all that and to medal at the Olympics. The coaches that had the biggest influence on me were probably Zeke Jones and Kevin Jackson.
Stephen Abbas is one of the most creative wrestlers I've ever seen. He really had the gift of knowledge, technique, creativity. He could do things that most people couldn't do. It was fun to watch him because he was an innovator, and he had this way of analyzing wrestling and doing it in a way that no one else could do.
I think his mind was probably his biggest asset. He was mentally tough, but he wanted to explore wrestling to its fullest. He was always trying to develop world-class skills, world-class technique. He was always on the cutting edge of technical skill, and you could see that in his wrestling.
It was an amazing experience. I remember being so focused for it. Every match was intense, and it felt like I was prepared each specific guy. And it was a great experience. Everything went smoothly up until the finals. Obviously, I wanted to do better in that match, but by far it was an amazing experience, and I just hope one day that I'll be able to share that and help somebody else get to that point. Being a member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame means the world to me. I've poured my heart and soul into this sport, and to have the recognition and to know that I've done something special means everything, means the world. So, thank you.